Howdy folks. Since I moved here about 3 years ago, I'd heard a story about a sighting of a large white beast of an animal, the great white wolf of Texas apparently. And living here over the last couple of years, there was something going on sometimes at night. And then of course one night, as you saw, I showed you a clip there, this beast showed up. And I had to give him some doggy biscuits and we made buddies after a while. It took a while. But he would come and visit me sometimes around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Nobody knew where he came from, nobody knew where he went, but he would hang around. And his paws were bigger than a man's fist, so, you know, probably well over 200 pounds. Very large animal. None of the camera shots that I got of him actually really give you, the example of just how big he was. But I've got one other clip that I was able to capture using my camcorder setup with like an 8-hour run on it, and I was able to capture him as he came around my garage one night. It was like a full moon, it's quiet, none of the animals around the area or anywhere. When you didn't see any raccoons, possums, skunks, nobody's around, you knew the beast was nearby somewhere, moving around. And I was able to film him a couple of times, and so I don't, if he had a name, I just called him the Great White Wolf, because that's what he was. He was just a great big white wolf. So I thought I would share this with you this week because we got some news this week. Finally did some digging a little bit, and a gal in the neighborhood not too far from here found him, and he had suffered a really bad stroke. He could get up and he would fall right back down over and over again. So the neighbors took him to the vets and they had him put down. But up until then, he'd always been this legendary ghost around here late at night when he would just show up. So he was something else. So we're going to dedicate, I guess, this episode or whatever to the memory of him, and we'll get on with the show, right? Let's do it. I had to back the camera way off to get this in the shot. But I was at a yard sale past weekend, and go yard sale hopping pretty much every weekend and check for different things. I like to repurpose things even. Obviously, if you see this thing, what it is it's the leftovers from what was a pressure washer, a nice, probably almost, I guess, industrial type grade or whatever. The pressure washer was shot, and as the fellow at the yard sale that was running the sale was telling me, he says, these things are thrown away, and he says, they are great. What he had was he had his MIG welder mounted on top of this, he even used this hook for all the cabling and stuff. So it was like, what a great little idea. And I thought, I gotta share this with you guys, but you got to look around. But I've seen them sometimes on the curbs of the streets and stuff with pressure washers gone, and just this is left over without realizing, boom, duh, this is great for around the shop. In fact, I'm thinking about building a platform off of this and maybe even mounting my thickness planer or something on here so I can wheel it in, wheel it out. The MIG welder that I bought from him was a Hobart, and I put that on my welding cart. So obviously I don't need this for that, but what a great, heavy duty metal, good tires and everything on it. It's like, this thing is it's still useful. It is awesome. And he had several of them. He says people throw these things out. He says they're free. And he says he turned them into all kinds of different little projects where he could wheel his tools around on these things. So I thought this week, as soon as I get the chance, I got to show you guys this crazy idea. But yeah, so this is the MIG welder. He had it on that pressure washing stand, and so he gave it to me as a package deal, whatever. But the welder turned out to be, the Hobart turned out to be a really good MIG welder. It seems like it works really great. Really happy with it. So I'll put it in my welding cart, and I'm getting rid of the old Century. If you watch my show, you probably remember I have an old Century welder that's been around forever. This one can also run gas and or flux core. I've set it up for flux core because that's what I like. That's what I work with, flux core. I don't mind the little bit of overspray or whatever that you get sometimes with the welding, but the flux core for me is really good, especially outside when it's really breezy or windy, or if I have a big box fan or something blowing on me to keep the fumes off while I'm welding. the flux core is going to give me a better weld anyways. So that's why I stick with the flux core welding. But the this MIG machine here was for $100. It was kind of, you know, I think I paid too much. I don't know. But to me, a Hobart it's a good brand name. So I was like, yeah, okay, you know, let's pick that up and bring it home and switch it with the other one. It doesn't fit the welding cart from Harbor Freight. Yeah, there's a problem with that. So I've had to shim it up a little bit. Otherwise, I couldn't get this side door open to get into the Hobart. So yeah, there's some problems. Always is, isn't there? But other than that, this was just the stand that he had it on was just like, you know, like it's like just amazing, free, and yet look at how many, you know, things you can do with something like that. I thought, got to show this. Okay. Also, I'm going to show you guys something else that I built from yard sales. Yeah, another project. I picked these up at a clearance store. They're from Costco's. They're about $15 each when I got them. And I bought a bunch of them. And I needed them to sit like this on a stand or something for like studio type work for recording or having good lighting around on stands. So I came up with an idea. So what I did was I 3D printed these pieces here to slide onto this. This black bar is actually from a surround sound speaker system that I bought at a yard sale for $1. I got 2 of these and mounted them this way, but the base isn't any good. So I'm gonna fix the base right now while we're looking at all this. The base is not real heavy and it's not real stable. Plus the wood itself, I think, is starting to curve a little bit. So we're gonna fix all that right now. I had just used a piece of scrap lumber from around my shop here, and I had cut the hole tight enough and tapped it that these actually screwed into this piece of lumber, but it's not really working that great. Not real happy with it, but whew, boy, they were in there pretty tight. I actually had to use a pipe wrench just to get that off. And what I did was I kept the old bases. So what I can do now is I can actually put the base back on, screwed onto these threads. And because they were getting kind of weak, I think we can just put some screws through now. And yeah, is that tight? Let's get in there. All right, and then tighten this, put this on. These are threaded actually, which is kind of an interesting operation because oof, and they're tight. Wow. Whew, that is tight, but it's going. Yeah, this is not the way they came from the manufacturer. Yeah, they didn't look like this. but what they had done is they had a hole with this mounted in the bottom, and this was all rotting and falling apart. So what I was thinking was I can probably come in from the top like that and just drive screws through, and I would still have the base without all the hassle. Yeah, so this has been a cheap studio lighting system, but it seems like it needs work. So I don't know. We'll try this and just see if it works. And I think that'll bite pretty good, and hopefully it will. Yeah. Whew. Wow. Yeah. Let's see it. I probably should have done this as soon as I brought this home from the yard sale, but I stuck that wood on there, and yeah, I think that'll do the trick. Now I'm going to stand this up here on the floor and see what we have. And there's my 3D printed clips, and wow. I guess we got another one to do because we have 2 of these things. Finished product right there. They're back on the floor. They're on these instead of that pieces of plywood I was temporarily using. So that's fixed, but still yard sale and consignment store, and we got good studio lighting. So that's how the some of my studio lighting, cheap, you know. Yeah, we have a draw coming up. We got to give something away. It's Thursday. Come on, let's do that. Yeah, let's get to that now. We are good to go. We have all the tickets from entries over the past week. I want to thank everybody for entering the contest. It's just a cool thing to, you know, give away stuff that we review on the show week to week. I think it's a cool idea. Anyways, I'm hoping it will expand in the future. It's been kind of slow last year, and we did have a little stumble this year, but we're back on track, I hope. We'll mix them up some more to try to give everybody the best possible chance of winning. And let's see who we got here. The big man up in Tennessee. Oh yeah. Edwin, you got you a sound meter. Man alive. And Edwin has a YouTube channel from what I understand. I don't know what I don't think Edwin gave us the name of that one. Maybe he did. I don't recall. Anyways, you're in Pinson, Tennessee, man. Cool, man. Nice country up that way too. So, Edwin, you got your top test sound meter. I'm gonna put this in the mail on Monday, and it's on its way to you. Yeah, cool. Everybody else, thank you so much for entering this contest this week. Awesome. Due to scheduling problems with deliveries, we don't have the next item here right now. So sometime either next week, Monday, whatever, we'll get back into it. Until then, I want to thank everybody for watching Coffee and Tools. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the notice bell for when we do give cool stuff away. And I'll see you guys next week, man. Cool. Yes. I'm out of here. Over and out.